There's a moment in every person's life when they finally realize something powerful. You don't get what you wish for. You don't get what you wait for. You get what you ask for. Not later, not someday, not when life magically decides you're ready. You get what you ask for the moment you choose to speak with clarity, confidence, and purpose. Most people never reach that moment. They stay silent. They hope. They hint. They pray someone will notice. But silence is not a strategy. Silence is a cage. And this audiobook is about breaking that cage into pieces. Welcome to How to Get Whatever You Want. Learn to Ask Like a Pro. Subtitle: Ask Better, Get More. The psychology behind getting what you want. Today, you're going to learn the skill most people ignore their entire lives. The art of asking with clarity, confidence, and emotional intelligence. Because asking isn't begging. Asking isn't inconvenience. Asking isn't weakness. Asking is power. And when you master it, life begins to move. Chapter 1. The Hidden Reason. You're not getting what you want. Let's begin with the truth. Most people never say out loud, "You already deserve more than you're receiving." You just don't ask for it. Not because you're incapable, not because you're unworthy, but because deep inside there is a voice, trained by your past, shaped by old fears, influenced by old environments, that whispers, "Don't bother anyone. Don't ask for too much. Don't risk being rejected. Be grateful for what you have." But that voice didn't come from strength. It came from conditioning. Maybe you grew up in a home where speaking up led to criticism. You were taught that needing something made you a burden. You learned to shrink yourself so others felt comfortable. You watched people punish honesty and reward silence. So now, as an adult, every time you want something, your body tightens. Your voice softens. Your mind races. You choose quiet instead of clarity. Not because it's the best choice, but because it's the old habit. But here's what you must understand. The life you want does not come to the quiet. It comes to the clear. No one can guess your needs. No one can assume your dreams. No one is responsible for reading your mind. If you don't speak, you won't be seen. If you don't ask, you won't receive. This entire audiobook is built on one truth. Your life expands each time your voice does. And today, your voice begins to expand. Chapter 2. The Psychology of Asking. Why your brain fears it. Before we teach you how to ask, we must understand why asking feels so uncomfortable, because the fear is not random. Your brain has one primary job: avoid danger. And historically, being rejected was danger. It meant being pushed out of the tribe. It meant loss of resources. It meant survival risk. Even today, your brain treats a simple no like a threat. Your heart races. Your palms sweat. Your voice shakes. Your mind tries to talk you out of speaking. But here's the irony. Asking is not the danger. Avoidance is. Avoidance is how people stay in jobs they hate. Avoidance is how people tolerate relationships that drain them. Avoidance is how dreams die quietly in the background of everyday life. Every time you remain silent, you train your brain that silence is safer than truth. You reinforce the belief that you're not meant to have more. You protect your fear instead of your future. But once you understand the psychology, the fear begins to loosen. Fear is a feeling. Asking is an action. And feelings do not control actions unless you let them. People who get what they want aren't fearless. They're simply trained. They've practiced speaking through the fear. They've practiced owning their needs. They've practiced being uncomfortable and moving anyway. And that's what you're going to learn in this audiobook. How to speak clearly, how to ask confidently, how to stay grounded even when nervous, how to detach from outcomes, how to receive no without losing momentum, how to turn conversations in your favor, how to influence people without manipulation, how to build a mindset of clarity, courage, and self-respect. This is not about tricks. This is not about being pushy. This is not about selfishness. This is about communication, clarity, and confidence. the trifecta of people who get results. But before any strategy, technique, or method works, you need one thing: a belief that you deserve to ask. Not because you're perfect, not because you're special, but because you're human. And humans have needs, humans have desires, humans have potential, and humans grow by communicating. If you're listening to this, it's because something inside you is ready. Ready for more, ready for better, ready for the next version of yourself. The version that doesn't shrink, hide, or apologize for wanting more out of life. The version that speaks, the version that asks, the version that leads. You're not learning a skill. You're building an identity. Chapter 3. The identity of a person who gets a yes. Before we go into technique, before we build strategy, before you learn scripts or psychological tools, you need something far more important: a new identity. Because asking is not just a skill, it's an identity you step into. People who get what they want do not stumble into yes. They embody a mindset that naturally invites it. Here's the truth the world doesn't say out loud. People respond to the energy of the asker more than the words they speak. Let that sink in for a moment. Think about the people you've said yes to in your life. Often, your decision wasn't about the request. It was about the person making it. Their confidence, their tone, their presence, their clarity, their belief in what they were asking for. The asker mattered more than the ask. This means your identity determines your results. So let's explore the 4 traits of someone who gets a yes. Not once, not occasionally, but consistently. 1. They believe they deserve what they ask for. If you're secretly thinking, "I hope they say yes, but I don't really deserve it," that energy leaks into your voice, into your posture, into your presence. People feel it. And when people sense uncertainty, they default to no. But someone who believes they deserve more speaks differently. Their tone is steady. Their request is clear. Their presence is grounded. Not entitled, not demanding, just secure. Deserving isn't arrogance. It's alignment. 2. They detach from the outcome. Paradoxically, the people who get the most yeses are the ones who don't depend on getting them. They make the request and let go. Why? Because detachment communicates strength. Attachment communicates desperation. Desperation repels. Detachment attracts. You've felt this in relationships, jobs, opportunities, friendships. The tighter you cling to a yes, the quicker it slips away. This audiobook will teach you how to detach without being cold, how to be confident without being arrogant, how to be strong without being closed. 3. They respect their own needs. This trait is rare. Most people hide their needs. They minimize them. They suppress them. They convince themselves that wanting less is easier than asking for more. But people who get what they want never apologize for having needs. They see needs as natural, human, valid, important. You cannot ask clearly until you fully respect the validity of your desires. 4. They speak with intent, not hesitation. Hesitation kills momentum. Uncertainty muddies the message. Timidity creates confusion. Intent, on the other hand, creates clarity, and clarity creates yes. The identity you're building is simple. Someone who asks directly, confidently, respectfully, and without fear. This identity is the foundation. It is the backbone of everything else you'll learn here. Without this identity, nothing works. With it, everything becomes easier. Now let's move into the mechanics, the structure of a powerful ask. Welcome to Chapter 4. Chapter 4. The anatomy of a powerful ask. Asking is an art, yes, but it's also a structure. A powerful ask has a rhythm, a timing, a sequence, a flow. And once you understand this structure, asking becomes easy, because now you'll know exactly how to build your request in a way that is heard, respected, and received. Let's break the structure down into 4 essential parts. 1. Clarity. This is what I want. People cannot say yes to what they do not understand. Your request must be simple, specific, direct, measurable, unambiguous. The biggest mistake people make is being vague. Vague doesn't get results. Vague creates confusion. Confusion defaults to no. Clear asks get clear answers. For example, I need more. Support is vague. I need one additional team member on this project is clear. I want us to communicate better is vague. I'd like us to schedule a weekly 15-minute check-in is clear. Clarity activates logic. Clarity reduces friction. Clarity earns respect. 2. Reason. Here's why it matters. Humans respond to meaning. They respond to purpose. They respond to story. When you add a reason behind your ask, your request becomes more persuasive. Not manipulative. Just meaningful. For example, I'd like a raise. Here's what I've contributed in the past 6 months. Or, I want more quality time together. It makes me feel connected and grounded. Or, I'd like us to adjust our workflow. The current system is slowing down productivity. Reasons build trust. Trust builds yes. 3. Confidence. I believe this is a reasonable request. Confidence doesn't mean being pushy. Confidence means being grounded, steady, assured. Confidence is communicated through tone, posture, pace, eye contact, lack of over-explanation, lack of apology. Confidence is not loud. Confidence is calm, and calm is extremely persuasive. 4. Opportunity. Here's how we can do this together. This is the part most people miss. Your ask should never feel like a demand. It should feel like an invitation for collaboration, for partnership, for mutual benefit. Instead of, I need you to do this. Try, here's what I'm thinking. Can we explore this together? Or, this adjustment would help both of us operate more smoothly. Or, here's a solution that benefits everyone involved. People say yes to opportunities, not ultimatums. Putting it all together. A powerful ask follows this sequence: clarity, reason, confidence, opportunity. This is the psychology behind every yes you've ever given and every yes you're about to receive. But there's one more layer to this skill, a layer most people never master: timing. Because even the right ask, said the wrong way, at the wrong time, will fall flat. Dear friend, you are definitely on the right track if you are watching this video. Like, subscribe, and write in the comments which topic or problem concerns you the most. We promise to prepare a professional video explanation at your request. Chapter 5. Timing. The secret ingredient behind every yes. You can ask perfectly. Your words can be clear, confident, precise, persuasive. Your reasoning can be strong. Your presence can be powerful. But if you ask at the wrong time, your probability of getting a yes drops dramatically. Timing is the invisible force behind every successful ask. Think back to your own life. There were moments you said no, not because the request was unreasonable, but because the timing was. You were stressed, distracted, rushed, tired, overwhelmed, not mentally available. People rarely say no to the request. They say no to how they feel in the moment the request arrives. This chapter is about understanding human timing, the emotional, psychological, and practical rhythm that affects every conversation. Let's break down the elements of perfect timing. 1. Emotional timing. When they can actually hear you. This is the most important type of timing. If someone is upset, stressed, angry, pressured, grieving, mentally overloaded, rushing, tired, they cannot receive your ask properly. They may listen, but they cannot process. Emotional timing is about recognizing, is this person mentally open or mentally unavailable? For example, don't ask your partner for a deep conversation when they just walked through the door exhausted. Don't ask your boss for something significant in the middle of a crisis. Don't ask a friend for a favor when they're clearly irritated. This is not manipulation. This is emotional intelligence. Success comes when skill meets timing. 2. Environmental timing. When the setting supports the ask. The environment matters more than people think. Your request is received differently depending on noise, privacy, audience, context, pressure, formality, vulnerability. Asking your boss for a raise in the middle of a crowded hallway is different from asking in a scheduled meeting. Asking your partner for something important while they're distracted on their phone is different from asking with full presence. People say yes more easily when the environment feels safe. This chapter teaches you how to pick the room as carefully as you pick the words. 3. Relational timing. When trust is high. Trust is the emotional currency of asking. If trust is low, your ask feels like a burden. If trust is high, your ask feels natural. This is why people often get better results with relationships they've nurtured consistently. Relational timing is the understanding of, has this relationship been warmed or is it cold? Warmed relationships produce yes. Cold ones require patience and pacing. 4. Strategic timing. Building the moment. Just like a good storyteller builds toward the climax, a good communicator builds toward the ask. Sometimes you don't ask immediately. You warm the conversation, you ease the energy, you establish presence, you create comfort, you create context. Then, when the moment aligns, you ask. This is not manipulation, this is respect. You respect the listener's psychological rhythm. 5. Internal timing, when you feel aligned. There's also your timing. Sometimes you hesitate because you're not ready. Your energy isn't steady. Your thoughts aren't clear. Your voice isn't grounded. It's okay. You don't need to force the ask from a shaky emotional state. When you feel ready, centered, calm, confident, your words land with far greater impact. Asking is a dance, not a battle. And timing is the music of the dance. Now that we've built the foundation, we move to one of the most powerful abilities you can develop. The confidence to ask without fear. This is Chapter 6. Chapter 6. Confidence. Your greatest tool in getting what you want. Confidence is not a personality trait. Confidence is a skill, a learnable, trainable skill, and it is the single biggest predictor of whether your ask will be met with a yes. Confidence isn't loud. Confidence isn't arrogant. Confidence isn't aggressive. Real confidence is calm strength. It's the steady tone, the measured breath, the clear sentence, the unshaking posture, the grounded presence. Confidence is the thing that says, without saying it, I believe in the value of what I'm asking for. People pick up on that belief. They mirror it. They respond to it. They trust it. Let's break down the psychology of confident asking. 1. Confidence comes from self-respect, not ego. Confidence is born the moment you decide your needs are legitimate. Not dramatic, not excessive, not unreasonable. Legitimate. People who lack confidence in asking usually have a deeper issue. They don't believe their needs matter. So confidence begins with a simple truth. My voice matters. My needs are valid. I'm allowed to take up space. 2. Confidence is the absence of apology. If you apologize while asking, you weaken your position. Examples: I'm sorry, but can you? I hate to bother you. This is probably dumb, but stop apologizing for needing something. Stop apologizing for existing. Stop apologizing for wanting clarity. You can be polite without erasing yourself. Confidence sounds like, when you have a moment, I'd like to discuss something important. Or, I have a request that I'd like us to explore. Or, I'd appreciate it if we could make an adjustment here. No apology, just respect, for them and for you. Friend, write your opinion on this topic in the comments. Do you agree with us or not? I'm interested to hear your thoughts. 3. Confidence is the control of pace and tone. Fast talking signals fear. Over-explaining signals insecurity. Rushed speech signals panic. Slow, steady pacing signals confidence. Control your pace. Control your tone. Control your breath. The body speaks louder than the words. If your voice is calm, your presence communicates certainty. 4. Confidence is clarity without excess. You appreciate our efforts and our thoughts. Subscribe and like this video. We need to show the world that there are many people like us. We must always continue to improve. Insecure askers ramble. Confident askers simplify. Insecure askers explain their entire life story. Confident askers deliver the essential. Insecure askers justify endlessly. Confident askers state their intention and pause. The confident ask is clean. 5. Confidence is the willingness to hear no without crumbling. This is the root of true confidence. People fear asking because they fear rejection, but here is the truth. A no does not take anything away from you. A no does not define you. A no does not diminish your worth. A no is simply a data point. It is one moment, one response, one variable, not an identity-defining event. The most powerful thing you can tell yourself is, I can handle a no, and I will still be okay. Once you internalize this, asking becomes easy, because the fear loses its power. 6. Confidence is built through repetition, not perfection. You cannot think your way into confidence. You build confidence through repeated asking. There is no shortcut. Every time you ask, you collect evidence of your strength. Every time you speak up, you weaken the old pattern. Every time you practice, the fear fades. Confidence is not a feeling. Confidence is a muscle, and you are here to strengthen it. Now you've learned the identity, the structure, the timing, and the confidence. You're ready for the next evolution, turning a no into progress, power, and influence. That is the heart of Chapter 7, and it's where your ability to ask transforms into the ability to navigate the world. Chapter 7. How to turn no into power. Most people fear no. They avoid it. They take it personally. They see it as the end of the conversation, the end of the opportunity, the end of their confidence. But here's the truth. No is not the end. No is information. No is direction. No is momentum. No is the beginning of your next strategy. Every person who has ever achieved anything significant has collected more no's than most people collect attempts. Actors hear no. Entrepreneurs hear no. Leaders hear no. Visionaries hear no. Creators hear no. The difference? They don't interpret no the way the world does. They don't stop. They don't shrink. They don't crumble. They pivot. Let's redefine no in your life, so deeply that it stops being something to fear and becomes something you know how to navigate with confidence, intelligence, and grace. 1. The 3 types of no. There are only 3 kinds of no, and once you learn to identify them, you'll gain instant clarity. A. The temporary no. Not now. This is the most common type. People aren't rejecting you. They're overwhelmed, distracted, tired, or not mentally available. This no is not about your request. It's about their bandwidth. Timing is the enemy, not you. B. The informational no. I need more clarity. Sometimes people say no because they don't understand your request fully. Your ask might have been vague, too fast, too big, or missing details. They aren't refusing you. They're refusing confusion. C. The boundary. No. This doesn't work for me. This is the only true no. It's about their limits, not your value. It's about their needs, not your identity. And here's the secret. A boundary no still creates respect when you handle it with maturity. People appreciate someone who can accept a clear refusal without drama or pressure. This builds trust, and trust always leads to future opportunities. 2. How confident people respond to no. Confidence is not about forcing a yes. Confidence is about how you behave after a no. Let's break down the most powerful reactions. A. The calm acknowledgement. A simple, "Thanks for letting me know," or "I appreciate your honesty," instantly elevates your presence. Why? Because calmness communicates emotional strength. B. The clarifying question. This is where emotional intelligence meets strategy. You can ask, "What would make this possible?" Or, "What timing works better for you?" Or, "What information would you need to reconsider?" These questions transform no into dialogue. You learn the obstacle, you learn the concern, you learn the reason. Now you can tailor your next move intelligently. C. The strategic pivot. If the no is firm, you pivot to alternatives. Okay, could we explore another option? Or, what solution would work better for you? Or, is there a different direction that aligns with your goals? This keeps the conversation alive, not with force, but with flexibility. D. The high-value exit. When the no is genuine and final, you leave with grace. Not pressure, not tension, not resentment. A high-value exit builds future opportunity. "No problem at all. Thank you for the consideration. Let's stay in touch." People remember how you behave when you don't get what you want, and those memories influence future yeses. 3. The no that builds your identity. Every no you survive builds your courage, your resilience, your emotional intelligence, your ability to stay centered. A no can harden you or sharpen you. The choice is yours. When you start viewing no as part of the process, you lose your fear of it. And once you lose your fear, your ability to ask becomes unstoppable. But there's one more layer: understanding the psychology of influence. Because asking isn't just clarity, timing, or confidence. It's understanding how humans think. Let's enter Chapter 8. Chapter 8. Influence. The psychology behind getting a yes, dear viewer. Please write in the comments what interested you most in the video. This will help us improve our videos. Influence is not manipulation. Manipulation is dishonesty. Influence is alignment. Influence is the art of helping someone see why your request is reasonable, valuable, and aligned with their interests. People say yes when they feel safe, when they feel respected, when they feel understood, when they feel seen. People say yes when the ask matches their values, goals, or needs. People say yes when the conversation feels collaborative, not competitive. Influence is not persuasion with force. Influence is persuasion with empathy. Let's break down the psychological principles that make your ask easier to accept. 1. The principle of reciprocity. Humans are naturally wired to return value. When someone feels appreciated, supported, or valued by you, they become more open to saying yes. Small gestures matter. Expressing genuine gratitude, recognizing their efforts, acknowledging their contributions, offering help when you can. You don't earn a yes, but you create an environment where yes becomes more likely. 2. The principle of emotional safety. People say yes when they feel safe. Safety means not being judged, not being pressured, not being rushed, not being manipulated, not being cornered. When you create a relaxed, respectful environment, people feel free to respond authentically. And authentic responses lead to authentic yeses. 3. The principle of alignment. This is the heart of influence. A request is most likely to be accepted when it aligns with the listener's goals, values, interests, convenience, desires, needs, long-term plans. So you must ask yourself, how does my request help them too? The moment you find alignment, you no longer have to push. The request sells itself. 4. The principle of framing. How you frame your request shapes how it's perceived. For example, "Can you help me?" Sounds like a burden, but "Can we make this easier for both of us?" Feels like collaboration, or "I need this from you" creates pressure, but "Here's how we can solve this efficiently" creates partnership. Framing isn't manipulation. It's clarity with intention. 5. The principle of listening. Influence is impossible without listening. Asking is speaking. Influence is listening, because when you listen, you learn what they value. You detect hesitations. You pick up emotional cues. You uncover resistance. You identify opportunities. You tailor your request with precision. Listening is the secret weapon behind every yes. 6. The principle of certainty. Humans follow certainty. When you speak with clarity and confidence, people feel guided, supported, anchored. Your certainty becomes their certainty. If you believe in your ask, they can believe in it too. 7. The principle of mutual respect. Influence collapses the moment respect disappears. Respect creates trust. Trust creates yes. Respect their time, respect their boundaries, respect their truth, respect their autonomy. Respect is powerful because it makes people feel safe with you, and safety is the foundation of influence. Influence isn't about getting your way. It's about finding the way that works for both of you. Now that you've mastered influence, it's time to elevate your skills even further. The final closing message. If this audiobook opened your eyes, if it made you think, if it strengthened your voice, then hit like as your personal promise to speak with clarity in your own life. Drop a comment about the line or chapter that shifted your mindset the most. Your words may inspire someone else to stop being silent. Subscribe so you never miss the next journey into mindset, discipline, communication, and emotional intelligence. And share this audiobook with someone who needs to stop shrinking and start speaking. Finally, what topic do you want the next full audiobook to explore? Your next transformation begins with one decision: to ask for it.